IELTS General Writing Task 1, Lesson 5, Useful Phrases. Before we begin this lesson, please note, memorised phrases are not the secret to a high score in IELTS writing. In this lesson, we will look at some useful phrases for informal and formal letters, but these phrases alone will not get you a high score. You will also need to use good vocabulary related to the specific topic of the question. I'll mention this again later. We'll start with some informal phrases. The first group you may have seen before if you watched my lesson on informal letter writing. Let's have a look. First sentence beginning the letter. You may have seen these before. I hope you're well. I hope this letter finds you well. I hope you enjoyed your holiday, for example. I'm just writing to let you know that. I'm just writing to thank you for. I just wanted to write a quick letter to tell you. This is how you can begin your letter with the first sentence if it's an informal letter task. Then, we've also seen in the previous lesson about this type of letter, the final sentence ending in an informal way. Here are some possibilities. I hope to see you soon. Hope to see you then. Enjoy your stay, trip, holiday. Best of luck with your test, for example. I'm sure you'll have a great time. Keep in touch. Say hello to the family. I look forward to catching up with you soon. Now let's move on to informal phrases for different purposes, and I haven't used these in previous lessons before. We'll start with thanking someone. You can say, I'm just writing to thank you for. I can't thank you enough for. Thank you so much for. It was really kind of you. On the worksheet attached below this lesson, you can see full examples with these phrases, so I've made them into full sentences. Just one thing to notice before we move on to the next idea. I'm and can't, of course, in informal letters, as I've explained in previous lessons, we can use these contractions, I'm, can't, instead of I am and cannot. Another thing to notice here is the word just. I'm just writing to thank you for. Using the word just like that is the kind of thing that we do in informal writing, but not in a formal letter. So adding just is quite nice for informal letters. Next thing, requesting, asking for something. You could say, I hope you don't mind me asking, but could you possibly help me with something? I'd be really grateful if you could. I'm just writing to ask whether you could. It would be great if you could. Again, you'll notice some features of informal letters there, and you can see full example sentences with these phrases on the worksheet attached. The next thing, making a suggestion in informal letters. I was wondering if you would like to. Why don't we? Why don't you? You're more than welcome to, and don't forget to. A few things to notice here. We've got contractions again, don't, your. We've also got question marks. You're allowed to ask direct questions. It's normal to do that in an informal letter. And also beginning a sentence with and. You might have been told not to do that, but in an informal letter, it looks good. It's quite normal. Next, some informal phrases for describing a problem or giving an excuse. I'd love to accept your invitation, but unfortunately, I'm afraid I won't be able to attend the meeting, come to your party, whatever it is. Sorry I didn't write to you earlier, but I was really busy, for example. This is why I didn't have time to answer your call, for example. Next one, saying sorry in an informal letter. Sorry I didn't write to you earlier. I'm so sorry that I wasn't or didn't or couldn't do something. I really hope you'll forgive me for. By way of an apology, I've or I would like to. For example, by way of an apology, I've bought you some tickets to a concert, or I'd like to invite you to dinner. So those are some useful informal letter phrases. I've gone through them quite quickly, but remember you can review them and see full sentence examples on the worksheet attached below this video. Now moving on, let's look at some formal phrases for formal letters. First, the first sentence stating the purpose of the letter. Again, I've shown you these in a previous lesson about formal letters, but let's look at them again because they're useful. I'm writing with regard to. I'm writing to request or to ask for. I'm writing to thank you for. I am writing to inform you that. I am writing to inform you of my decision to. I am writing to complain about. I am writing to bring to your attention. Notice that we're using I am instead of I'm in the formal letter writing style. Moving on, we've got the final sentence ending in a formal way, and I've shown you these before as well. On behalf of all my colleagues, I would like to thank you for. Thank you for your help and support. I look forward to receiving your response. I await your prompt response. I hope that you will address these concerns as soon as possible. Please let me know if you require any further information. I hope that my request does not cause you any inconvenience. If you compare those final sentences with the way that we ended an informal letter, you'll see a big difference. You can review those on the worksheet. Next, some phrases that I haven't used or given you before. Thanking someone, first of all, in a formal way this time. I am writing to thank you for. I am grateful for. We would all like to thank you for. Simple, but a little bit more formal than the previous ones that we saw earlier. Notice again that we're using I am instead of I'm. On to the next purpose, requesting, asking for something. I have decided that I would like. I would therefore ask that you. I would also like you to. I was wondering if it would be possible for me to. I would be extremely grateful if you could. I would like to request that you. I would appreciate it if you could. Those are good phrases for requesting in a formal letter. Again, you can see full example sentences where I've continued each of these phrases, made it into a full sentence on the worksheet. On to the next purpose. Making a suggestion. If you have to make a suggestion in your formal letter, you could say, I would like to suggest that you. Another solution would be to, as the mistake was caused by your company, I hope that you will. And maybe you can use those phrases to make your own example sentences. You'll see my examples on the attached worksheet. Let's move on to another type of purpose for your letter. If you're complaining about a problem in a formal letter, you could write, I am writing to complain about. I would like to express my dissatisfaction with. I was extremely disappointed or unhappy with. Unfortunately, as a result of this error, I was unable to. The issue that most concerns me is, I hope that you will address this problem or these concerns as soon as possible. Next, apologizing in a formal way. Just two quick suggestions for this. I would like to apologize for, and please accept my sincere apologies. That's the end of the formal phrases that I'm giving you today. I've gone through them quite quickly, but remember you can rewind this video and watch it as many times as you need to, and you can also download the worksheet to see examples of how we can use these phrases in full sentences. Just before the end of this lesson, I want to remind you of one thing. Just remember, the phrases in this lesson are useful, but you will also need to use good topic vocabulary in your letters. For example, if you're writing a complaining letter, the topic vocabulary will depend on the problem that you are complaining about. For example, a bad meal in a restaurant, a train that was late, or a problem with something you bought in a shop. Topic vocabulary is much harder to prepare because we can't predict every possible topic that might appear in the test. To improve your knowledge of topic vocabulary, you need to read lots of example letters and do lots of practice. So keep following the lessons on my blog, ieltssimon.com, and keep practicing. That's the end of this series of lessons for the general training writing task. I hope you found them useful, and I hope that you'll keep following the lessons on my blog to practice more.